Today, we're diving into one of the most incredible concepts in the entire Zohar, the Madora Shevi'ah, the Seventh Habitation. Now, this isn't just some location on a celestial map. The Zohar paints this as a vision of total cosmic completion, a perfected reality where spirit and matter finally, and I mean finally, come together in this perfect, harmonious union. It's a huge idea, so let's get into it. So the Zohar describes this place in almost cinematic detail. Picture an exalted habitation, and it's just glowing with this pure, tranquil light. And we're not talking about some blinding glare. It's more like a soft, ambient light that seeps into everything. There's this profound stillness here, a harmony you can almost feel. It's the atmosphere of a world that has finally, perfectly come to rest. And get this, within this serene space, the Zohar talks about these vast treasuries, the otrot, just standing open. These aren't like dusty old bank vaults. They're described as luminous, practically radiating light. And they're overflowing with these intangible but incredibly real assets. They're filled with peace, shalom, and blessing, bracha. It's like all the spiritual capital earned by the righteous throughout history is now completely manifest and available to them. So, who lives here? The righteous souls, of course, dwelling in what the text calls a calm majesty. But here's where it gets really wild, where the whole paradigm shifts. The Zohar says it's not just their souls. Their sanctified bodies are also there, in a kind of subtle, perfected form. This is a state of total union, a complete and mysterious integration of spirit and matter that just shatters our usual ideas about the afterlife. Okay, so to really unpack this, here's our game plan. We'll start with the vision itself, then lay out the cosmic blueprint it's a part of. We'll get into this mind-blowing concept of the Great Mirror, then dive deep into the mechanics that make it all work. We'll even use some modern analogies to help unlock the system, and finally, we'll see how this all adds up to a profound doctrine of completion. All right, so before we can truly appreciate this one specific place, we kind of need to zoom out and look at the bigger map. Kabbalistic thought gives us this incredibly structured spiritual reality, a divine architecture of worlds and palaces. The Seventh Habitation isn't just some isolated heaven, it's really the capstone of a huge, intricate system. The basic framework is this cascade of four worlds. Coming down from the top, you have Atzilut, the world of pure divine emanation, then Buriah, the world of creation where the divine throne is. Below that is Yetzirah, the world of formation, full of angelic beings. And finally, there's Asya, the world of action, which is where we are, our physical reality. Each world is a step down in spiritual density, so to speak. Now, within these worlds, the Zohar talks about two kinds of structures. You've got the Hekalot, or palaces. Think of these as the functional, operational centers of the cosmos. They're the engines processing all that spiritual energy. And then you have the Madorim, or habitations. These are different. They're not engines, they're residences, places designed for souls, and crucially, bodies, to dwell in a state of perfect rest. The Zohar famously details 7 holy palaces, which form this ladder of spiritual ascent, from the sapphire pavement all the way up to the Holy of Holies. This 7-tiered structure of dynamic, functional centers is actually the blueprint for the 7-tiered structure of the Mandarim, the very habitations of rest we're looking at today. So, with that architecture in mind, we can now dive into the central, really mind-bending idea that makes the Seventh Habitation so unique. The Zohar puts forward this principle of a perfect one-to-one mirror. The absolute highest spiritual realms are perfectly reflected in the most perfected physical realms. It's this cosmic symmetry that defines everything. And this one Aramaic phrase, this is the key that unlocks the whole thing. The Zohar says the entire point of everything is L'mehe vi kula chad da kegavna da, which means, but all may be one, this one like that one. This is an incredibly precise statement. The goal is to create a perfect, seamless unity between the spiritual, that one, and the physical, this one. And what this principle leads to is wild. It means there isn't just one seventh habitation. There are two. There's a realm above, La'ila, a heavenly plane for the pure essence of righteous souls. And then, in perfect parallel, there's a realm below, Latata, a perfected home on earth for their sanctified physical forms. One for their souls, the Neshmatan, and a perfect mirror for their bodies, the Gufehan. So you have to ask, right? Why is this mirroring so critical? I mean, most spiritual traditions talk about the soul escaping the body, leaving it behind. But here, the Zohar insists on a perfected home specifically for the body. Why? Well, it seems the goal of creation isn't to run away from the physical world, but to elevate it, to sanctify it, to bring it into perfect harmony with the spiritual.
Okay, so now let's get into the nitty-gritty. How is the state of perfect mirrored reality even possible? How is it maintained? Well, the answer is in the deep, mystical physics of the Kabbalah, the Sephirotic engine that is basically the operating system for the entire cosmos, especially a perfected one.
Everything, and I mean everything, culminates in the Sephirah of Malkut, or kingdom. Malkut is the final destination, the vessel that receives all the divine energy flowing down from the attributes above it. In our world, it's often seen as incomplete, but in the seventh habitation, Malkut is fully realized, fully sanctified. It is the perfected ground floor of reality. And this perfected reality of Malchut has to rest on something, right? It rests on Yesod, the foundation. Yesod is the pipeline, the channel that funnels all that divine energy downwards. It represents the covenant, the active link between the upper and lower worlds. It's the very foundation that this new perfected reality is built on. Remember that atmosphere of pure tranquility we talked about at the beginning, that feeling of peace? Well, that is the tangible experience of the Sephirah of Tiferet, which means beauty or harmony. Tiferet is the great cosmic balancer, finding the perfect equilibrium between the expansive energy of love and the constricting energy of judgment. The seventh habitation is a state of manifested Tiferet, where all cosmic drama is resolved into a stable, beautiful peace. And you've probably noticed the number 7 is popping up everywhere. 7 habitations, 7 palaces. In Jewish mysticism, 7 isn't just a number. It represents a qualitative state of being, completion, holiness. It's just like the 7th day, the Sabbath, which completes and sanctifies the 6 days of work. The 7th habitation is like a cosmic Sabbath, the ultimate point of rest and completion for reality itself. So let's go back to those treasuries, the Utzrot, for a second. What's actually inside them? They are basically repositories for all the accumulated spiritual goodness of the righteous. Blessing and peace are the big ones, but they're also said to hold fountains of divine gifts, special garments of light for the souls, and even reserved wisdom and secrets that you can only access in this perfected state. It's like the collective merit of all history finally unlocked. You know, Kabbalists often describe spiritual energies in terms of color, and the vibe of this realm is like a perfect blend of 3 main spiritual hues. You have this pure white, Lovin, which is all about divine mercy and purity. Then there's a soft gold, Zahav, which stands for judgment but in a sanctified, glorious way, not a harsh way. And finally, a peaceful blue, Teshelet, the color of the perfected kingdom, Malkut. Their perfect blend is the sign of a world in total equilibrium. Okay, I know that was a lot of deep, mystical mechanics, and it can feel pretty abstract, right? But what's so incredible is how these ancient ideas can suddenly become clear when we look at them through modern analogies. So let's try to unlock this whole system with a couple of paradigms that might just make it all click. So first, let's put on our cosmic engineering hats. Think of the seventh habitation as the final, secure storage and reward layer in a vast cosmic system. The righteous souls and bodies, they're like validated, perfected entities. The Sephirot, that's the underlying cosmic operating system and its protocols. The state they're in is a stable, finalized system state. No more bugs, no more patches. And those treasuries, that's just the system allocating rewards and stored value in this high-integrity environment. Okay, that was the techie version. Now for something that might be a little more fun, but honestly, just as deep. What if we thought about all this like the ultimate video game? Seriously, the structure maps onto it perfectly, especially when you think about endgame content. Let's call it the Hall of Legends. Okay, first step, you complete the game. The righteous have finished all their earthly quests and trials. Step 2, you enter the VIP lounge. The seventh habitation is the ultimate peaceful sanctuary zone. No more fighting. Step 3, you have your max level avatars. The unified soul and body are the perfected, fully powered characters. Step 4, you unlock legendary loot. You open the treasuries for the ultimate blessings and spiritual gear. And then, in this amazing twist, you become the game's foundation. Their perfected state literally upholds and stabilizes the entire game world for everyone else. So we've seen the vision, we've broken down the mechanics, we've even looked at it as a video game. So now let's bring it all home. What is the ultimate point of this whole Zoharic vision? This is what we can call the doctrine of completion. Here's the thing. The seventh habitation isn't just a final reward, some endpoint where the story stops. It's the achievement of a perfected state of being that actually becomes the foundation for a brand new, redeemed reality. This is the ultimate goal of creation, to heal that split between heaven and earth, between spirit and matter, soul and body. It's not about escaping reality, it's about perfecting it. And this brings us to a truly radical statement in the text. The Zohar says, "The world does not endure except for the sake of the righteous who are holy bodies." Just let that sink in for a minute. The stability of the entire cosmos is said to rest on the existence of these perfected, sanctified bodies in their lower habitation. Physicality isn't the problem we need to solve. Perfected physicality is the ultimate solution. It becomes the very pillar that holds everything else up. So let's just do a quick recap of the huge ideas here. First, cosmic reality is built on this stunning principle of perfect mirroring between the spiritual and the physical. Second, the physical world isn't something to be thrown away, but to be perfected and sanctified. Third, the ultimate state is a final, stable union of soul and body. And finally, the righteous don't just get a reward, they become the very foundation for a perfected existence. And this brings us to our final thought. We've been exploring this amazing vision of a future, perfected state. But if the Zohar is right, if the stability of the entire cosmos ultimately rests on the perfected state of humanity, on the sanctification of our bodies, our actions, and our world, then what is our role in building that foundation, right here today? Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.